Congratulations on the film. I think it's a great time to open this film, considering that it's been 35 years since the actual event. Was that something that you thought about?
100%. Yeah. I also, the movie is exactly 81 minutes long, and that's exactly as long as the robbery took place. It took them 81 minutes in and out. So I cut it so the movie was exactly that long.
To me, it feels like it's a heist comedy, but it's more than that. I think it's an exploration on friendship and taking care of, the friendship between Marty and Steve is very unique. Could you comment on that friendship and the way they relate to each other?
That's exactly the movie that I wanted to make. I took all my inspiration. If you look at the poster, I don't know if you'll recognize it, but it's this yellow color. And so the
Yeah.
movie that I was inspired by was Shoot the Piano Player, and it was a Truffaut film, and their poster was yellow. And the movie took a genre, like a heist genre that everybody knows, and you put the genre in the background. And Truffaut talked about what he was interested in instead. And for him, it was love. So he took a heist movie and he made it about love. So I wanted to take a heist movie and make it about a relationship between these two interesting characters. And I wanted to give these actors a lot of room to play. That's what interests me, is how these people react to each other, what their relationships are, what their friends are like, what their life is like. So my experiment was, how little of the story can I tell, but people follow it, and how much of can I put in the foreground, the stuff I really care about, which is the crazy things that people say and everything I see and the people that I know here in Boston that I grew up with. So that's where I put my interests.
Also, we're not used to see that part of Boston, dive bars, diners that are kind of weird, different neighborhood, which is not the tourist areas. So I think that Boston became a character in a way, and you explore different aspects of the city, no?
Yeah, I live in Boston. I've always lived in Boston, and I hate movies about Boston because most movies about Boston are from outsiders that come here because there's a tax benefit and they shoot their movie here, but they don't know anything. It doesn't look like the Boston that I live and drive around with every day. So I wanted to show what I see every day. And, there's a couple of movies that did that really well. Friends of Eddie Coyle did it really, really well. Um, and they showed, oh, I recognize that place. I know those people. That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah. When I first started, the first minutes of the film, I didn't know if it was a documentary or a fiction or a film based on. So did you do that on purpose? I love the fact that Paul opens the film looking into the camera.
Yeah, we gave every character a close up. We wanted to make sure, and I don't like shots that are medium, like this one. I like you're either in there and it's all you, or it's a wider shot and you see the environment. Everything has been cut now for TV, so everything is middle. I wanted to be extreme. I wanted to get in your face and then pull it out. I wanted to play with making you feel uncomfortable and then, comfort. I always wanted to keep everybody kind of, on their toes. But yeah, in terms of the tone of it, nobody ever knows if I'm being serious or being funny. I've had that problem my whole life. So I thought I would make the movie about that. I would give the movie that tone. So at times it's serious, at times it's not, and sometimes you can't tell what it's being.
But it's cool to see a scene that is very intense or maybe violent, and then you relax the situation with a little sentence or something that's and you're a writer too, right?
Yeah, I've been a writer in Hollywood for 25 years. So I've been working this a long time, and this is my first film that I directed. So I've been
How, how
saving up.
how does it feel to be having your first film out there? And it's opening soon, no? April, I mean, in May.
May 20th, it opens on Amazon and Apple and online. We're going to try it online for a brief time. I'll tell you about the way we've been trying to roll it out is really interesting, but we can get to that maybe in a minute. But yeah, the way that it feels is I've wrote a lot of dialogue. I've written a lot of scripts. I've sold probably 8 or 9, and some of them have been made into movies. I worked with Johnny Depp a lot. I've worked with Sacha Baron Cohen. I've gotten credit on some things I haven't gotten credit on. But of all the work that I've seen, that I've worked on, hundreds of minutes, and I see it all, and only about a minute of it felt like, oh, that sounds like my voice. Because of the process, it changes it, what your intention is, because once you get a new director, it's going to go a whole different direction. And after all this time, I wanted to see something that had my voice in it. And every 81 minutes of this movie feels like me. Even though it's collaborative and even though we worked with everybody, this feels like what I've been wanting to do my whole life.
You know, watching the film, for me, it felt very intimate. Like I was not, I felt that I was in the movie in a way, but it was, yeah, like when they're in the car and the guy's in the trunk. And can you explain that scene a little without, the Paul is driving, or yeah, Marty is driving, and then there's suddenly someone in the trunk, and Steve gets scared, and I felt like I was in the car. It was very approachable story, I think,
Yeah,
even though they're robbers or
yeah. I mean, there are many different versions of this. It's the singer, not the song, right? There are many different versions of a heist movie that can be made. There's like an Ocean's 11 version where it's all about the plot and it's all about the action. But I wanted to get into the skin of this kid who was a guard that night at the museum, and I wanted to make him feel as uncomfortable as possible, and I wanted the audience to see that as uncomfortable as possible. So I wanted to put him in situations that would really make him and the audience uncomfortable. And one of them was he meets somebody right away, and they go in a car, and there is a noise coming from the trunk, and it turns out that it's somebody that he knows in the trunk, that this guy has put him in there to kind of, and that was the interesting thing, that we worked with Paul Guilfoyle. His job was really to intimidate the kid, but also make him feel, at times, I'm going to make your life better. I'm going to abuse you, and I'm also going to make your life better at the same time. That's a really interesting acting um, uh, challenge, and only actors like Paul can do things like do two things at the same time. That's also a Truffaut idea, actually.
yeah. I felt that Paul was, yeah, he was abusing him, but to show him that he was abused by the world, and so therefore you have to change. I mean, I think.
That's right. I'm going to get you to do what I want you to do. But at the same time, I think you need a little help, and I'm going to make you better because of it. It's a really wonderful thing, can you show? And he does it at the same time. Some people can do, okay, I can intimidate you, and then I can make you feel good. But Paul does it at the same time. You don't know what he's doing. Is he taking advantage of me, or is he helping me? I'm not sure. That's what I loved about watching him work every day.
So the film is opening very soon, and I think, well, I loved it, and congratulations with the film, your first feature.
Thank
That's
you.
really
And it's
awesome.
it's a really interesting time in the film business to try to get a movie out. And we're trying some really unusual tactics to push it out there. I've teamed up with a marketing group in Madison Avenue from New York. And these creative executives, they've come out with these amazing advertisements that we created, that I directed, that we made for
You
the
know
movie.
what I love? Sorry for the interruption. The trailer feels like is the actual robbery, but it's not,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. So our marketing, you have to be a little creative, and you have to be light on your toes. And luckily, we're in control of every stage of it, and we're going to try it. So we're pushing it out online. It opens on the 20th, May 20th online, like I said, and then we'll bring it to theaters, and we're going to bring it we might bring it to Mexico City, and we might bring it to Paris, and we're going to bring it to Montreal. We have a really interesting rollout plan for the movie.